welcome to week 6 opening night live. We are back on stage at Gallen Community Theater, so no more undisclosed location with random puppy barks. So we are on stage and we're happy to be back. This week is going to be a super fun opening night live, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to go over the campaign a little bit. So we have just passed $25,000 raised. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is all because of all the support that you've given us and all the shares that you've done on Facebook and social media. So just keep up that energy, keep pushing the content out there, and we'll be able to stay here and last until our next production, when we can hopefully do a full-fledged, hopefully this musical, next summer. So visit our website, www.galleontheater.org/donate. We are also going to be reaching out to those who ordered t-shirts soon to give them the date for pickup. And then we will be releasing a new merch item very shortly, in the next day or two. So keep an eye out for that, and you can get some more Gallen Community Theater merch. Okay, without further ado, we're going to take care of one very special thing before we get our usual opening night live activities underway. So, Gallen Community Theater has been giving out scholarships to deserving local students for decades. And this all comes from our 50-50 raffle, every single show that you attend. So the 50-50 raffle tickets that our audience purchases goes to fund this scholarship, which is a separate account here at Gallen Community Theater, so we can make sure that we can help students follow their dreams and go to the schools that they want to go to. So, this year, our winner is Jackie Lugo. Yay! Jackie has been in several productions here at Gallen Community Theater. She was in Newsies and Mamma Mia and Little Shop of Horrors, and she has also done stuff for Gallen High School Performing Arts. Jackie will be attending North Central State College. I told her I was going to mess that up. North Central State College to study graphic design. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to Jackie.
Thank you.
And best wishes to you in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay, Jackie. Okay, and now we will get the ball rolling for our main opening night live content. So, Eric Palmer will be joining us here. Eric Palmer has been on the Gallen Community Theater Board for several years. He does a lot of the lighting design, even the lights that are on right now. And he has directed Sunshine Boys, Little Mermaid Jr., and Newsies.
Yes.
I did it.
You did. You did great.
So, Eric.
Yes.
I know we had originally planned to do Hunchback of Notre Dame this summer as the musical, and unfortunately, as you all know, we were unable to do that. And because we rely so heavily on the income from our shows, that's why we have our wonderful Fill the Seats fundraising campaign. So, why did you choose to do Hunchback of Notre Dame?
For me, when I look at shows to direct, I want to make sure it's something that I really like. And for the Hunchback, it's just full of really, really good music all the way through the soundtrack. One would say it's full of jammers and bops.
It's very true.
And then the same thing for Newsies. Like every single one of those songs just was amazing. So that's what I kind of look for. Those are the type of shows that I like to direct. And we're lucky, and you all will get to see tonight a few of our amazing cast members that we will all get to enjoy in the near future.
Yes. Those are both very chorus-heavy shows, too. Mm-hmm. So you're very drawn to the large productions.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's fun to have a lot of people in here. New people get to experience the show. It brings in a lot of people, which is great. But it's also good to know a lot of people and share the love for theater with a lot of people. Because all those people that audition and want to be in shows all love this place just like we do.
And they'll be welcomed back soon.
Yes, yes.
So, speaking of those wonderful actors that you were talking about, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, so we have 3 people performing today. We have Allie Chakroff. She's 28 and she lives in Delaware with her husband Jason. They have fur babies. Allie runs a baking business, which is really, really amazing. So a little plug for that. Allie's Baked Goods. Buy her baked goods, folks. Along with running that business, she works with SourcePoint, which is Thrive After 55. and she is a community education coordinator. And during her free time, she likes to volunteer for the Miss Ohio Scholarship Program. She's competed in that. She's had the role of a title holder. She's been an onstage performer, mentor, and judge. And Allie has actually performed here before, but it was about 10 years ago in The Boyfriend. And we have Martin. He is 19, and he is extremely thankful to be playing the role of Quasimodo. His most recent work was portraying the role of Sebastian in a New York theater's production of the Disney's Little Mermaid, which is a great musical, so way to go there, Martin. He plans to go back to NYC and pursue his dream of becoming a Broadway performer, but hopefully he performs as Quasimodo before he does that.
Yes.
And then we have Charles Groth. Charles is a music teacher at Winford Local Schools, where he also directs the High School Musical. He's performed in various theaters throughout the area, including the Tiffin Ritz, the Upper Sandusky Star Theater, the Bucyrus Little Theater, Marion Palace, Fort Finley Playhouse, and Van Wert Civic Center. And some of his favorite roles include Frederick Frankenstein, Shrek, William Barfy, Andrews, Snoopy, King Arthur, and Archibald Craven in The Secret Garden, and Thénardier in Les Mis. And Charles lives in rural Seneca County with his wife, Kimberly, and children Neil, Cecilia, and Jonathan. So they're all really great people, really talented people, and I hope you enjoy what they give to you all tonight.
Definitely. So without further ado, we're going to bring out our Quasi and Frollo, Charles and Martin.
All right, enjoy.
The world is cruel, the world is wicked. It's I alone who you can trust in this whole city. I am your only friend. I who keep you, teach you, feed you, dress you. I who look upon you without fear. How can I protect you, boy, unless you always stay in here? Away in here. Remember what I taught you, Quasimodo. You are deformed.
I am deformed.
And you are ugly.
And I am ugly.
And these are crimes for which the world shows little pity. You do not comprehend.
You're my defender.
Out there they'll revile you as a monster.
I am monster.
Out there they will hate and scorn and jeer.
Only monster.
Why invite their curses and their consternation? Stay in here, be faithful
I'm
to
faithful.
me, grateful
I'm
to
grateful.
me. Do as I say, obey, and
I'll
stay in here.
Safe behind these windows and these parapets of stone, gazing at the people down below me. All my life I watch them as I hide up here alone, hungry for the histories they show me. All my life I memorize their faces, knowing them as they will never know me. All my life I wonder how it feels to pass a day not above them, but part of them. And out there, living in the sun, give me one day out there. All I ask is one to hold forever. Out there, where they all live unaware of what I give, what I dare, just to live one day out out there, out there among the millers and the weavers and their wives. Through the roofs and gables I can see them. Every day they shout and scold and go about their lives, heedless of the gift it is to be them. If I were in their skin, I'd treasure every instant out there, strolling by the sand, the taste of morning out there, like ordinary men who freely walk about there. Just one day, and then I swear I'll be content with my share. Won't resent, won't despair, old and bent, I won't care. I'll have spent one day out there.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, and now we will bring all three back on and we'll go through some questions for them before we get to our next performance. So we've got Charles here, and Martin, and Allie. Okay. So first off, Jim Hoover says hi.
Oh, hi,
to
Jim.
Charles.
Yeah.
And there's a big Martin fan club on so far, so lots of shout outs for Martin. Okay, so we'll just go down the line if that works for you guys. So first one, what are your backgrounds with music, theater, and performing arts?
My background, started performing 6 years ago. Didn't think I would ever be interested in singing or acting of the sort, but thanks to Dirk Eaches, who got me into the program with him, I decided to just take off with it and actually take the gift that I have and just show the world what I can do. So.
And did you just produce like Once on the Island?
Yes.
You directed that somewhere?
I just directed Once on This Island last summer in August at Mansfield Senior High School. It was a phenomenal show. We sold out every single performance.
Congrats.
So it was amazing, but yeah.
Allie.
So I have been doing this for a long time, but also kind of took a break, starting life, going to college, all that stuff, and theater took the background. So I grew up dancing, and I remember when I was very, very young, one of the recitals that we had, it had just two people singing, and I remember telling my grandma at the time, I was like, I want to do that. And so I started practicing and doing American Idol with my stuffed animals, and in all through middle school and then into high school, I was actually very shy, very quiet, very insecure. And my friends were like, hey, let's do the musical. And so I did. I fell in love with it. And just most of my friends are from the theater community. I did band, show choir, all of that stuff. And, you know, that has continued in my life. And it's truly what brings me joy. And so that's why I came back. I was like, I have to get back involved in the theater. Like, I'm so happy and I'm so excited for this show whenever it actually gets to be performed live. It's going to be so wonderful.
You know, just hearing that first performance, the show's gonna be amazing when it gets to happen. So put it on your calendar for when we put it on Facebook. Okay, and Charles.
I started when I was in first grade. I don't want to brag, but I was Hansel and Gretel in our class play, and it was phenomenal. And after that, my first sort of like big show, my mom taught at the University of Findlay College at the time, and they were doing The King and I, so they needed all the little kids. So I'm like, okay, try that out, and I did it. And after the first performance, I told my mom, I said, hey, I want to do this again. And she goes, well, good, because you've got 6 more shows to go. And no, I mean, I want to do this again. And that's when like the bug sort of hit me. And from that moment on, it was like, this is what I really want to do. So it kind of drove my what I went to school for. I went and got my master's and bachelor's in music education, and I was working on my major in theater at Adrian College for 3 years before I transferred, and it's been a part of my life since then. So.
Awesome. Okay. And we talked, you might have covered this a little bit in your initial answers, but what got you into theater? What, I guess, inspired you to try out your first show, if you didn't already mention it?
Well, like I explained to you before, Durkee, just of course, he kept saying that I had a decent voice. But me, I was kind of like hesitant. I still to this day don't think I don't have a good enough voice. But
Just watch the recording back.
he pushed me to like believe in myself and actually just take that step out and do it. And it seems that people like it, so I continue to do it. So that's
Seems
what
to
got
be
me
working out,
started.
yeah.
And so.
Awesome.
So I had done like little shows in like elementary and middle school, but probably the biggest thing that was so exciting to me was when I was in middle school, they opened auditions for Annie that the high school was doing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to make some really cool friends that are in high school, because I don't know, I felt really awkward in middle school. I probably still am, but that's okay. And so I auditioned. I was really excited to get the role of Tessie, that, oh my goodness, and that's all I had to memorize, so it was really easy. And I caught the bug, and after that, it just streamlined, and I was like, okay, I want to audition for a big role, and it just kept growing from there. And really being an Annie, having those high school mentors, and they have no idea, but they had such a big impact on the future path that led me to, and having them to look up to was just so fantastic.
Kind of, you know, through
Right.
and it's the same thing. I like to hear their stories, because I see that with like the kids that when I'm directing a show now is those new kids that like come for the first time, and then like they just like blossom and they go, oh, this is cool, and that's probably what I enjoy the most about that. So I really enjoy hearing their stories.
When we did Newsies a couple years, I think that might have been Jackie, our scholarship winner. I think that might have been her first show. And that show had so many people, just because people know Newsies, and it's such an exciting show. So we had a lot of kids get on stage for the first time during that. And I think I've said before on one of these streams, there was not a dry eye on stage for the last production. They were just all crushed. And then they've come back repeatedly since then. So it's always nice to see. Okay, and then just one more song before we get to Allie's big performance, or one more question. What are your favorite roles that you've ever had?
My favorite roles, I played Shrek twice, once at the Mansfield Renaissance, once at the Mansfield Playhouse. I would say Shrek and Sebastian in Disney's Little Mermaid.
That's got to be a fun one.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
How fun. I love Sebastian. You can't not laugh with that part. It's wonderful. So probably my favorite part, I was in Seussical the Musical, and this was my first like big role, and I played JoJo. And when I got that role, I was like, wait, this is a little boy. And I remember feeling so heartbroken, but then as I got into the role and realized that the songs that he was able to sing and the connection with Horton, and that really was a defining moment of, okay, I can do this. I am good at this. Let's go. But yeah, I had the really cool khaki shorts.
Nice.
Oh, I looked so good. My baseball cap and size large boys, khaki pants, they were great.
I also played JoJo. The
It's
big
a good
yacht
one.
at the end? Yeah.
Yeah,
Brings the house down.
it does. It's great.
And Charlie.
Well, probably Frederick Frankenstein. That was a really good experience up at the Ritz, and so it left a big impression on me. But I think, well, Jim would probably be mad if I didn't say Richard Henry Lee. So, but yeah, that was in 1776. That was fun too. But like Pseudolus and Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. I mean, those kind of like comedic roles are kind of my favorites. So.
The Ritz, I believe, did Greg Ramsdell last week say that he was involved there? We just had him on last Friday.
Yeah, I
That's
know
great.
he
Him
was
and
one
his
of my
brother.
professors for my master's and all that. So yeah, good guy.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. opening night live, whatever we're calling these. Mark Schock also was like, decent voice doesn't cover it, so I think you're fine. Perfect. So if you're ready, we'll swing into our next performance. Allie's going to sing "God Help the Outcasts" for us.
If you can hear me, or if you're even there, I don't know if you would listen to a gypsy's prayer. Yes, I know I'm just an outcast. I shouldn't speak to you. Still, I see your face and wonder, were you once an outcast too? God help the outcast, hungry from birth. Show them the mercy they don't find on earth. Please help my people, they look to you still. God help the outcast when nobody will.
Okay, that was beautiful. We had some Alley fan club going on. And we will bring everyone back on once more for just a couple more questions and then a final performance. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And we did have some backup vocals by the two men here, so thank you for that. Okay, so let's start over here this time. Why do you think theater, and specifically community theater, is so important for people?
Well, I think the first word, community, is like the biggest thing, because I've always found that whenever I go to a theater that there's like it has its own personality, it has its own, kind of like soul. and to really see the people and meet new people that I would never have met otherwise. Like, if I wasn't part of this show, I would never have met these two wonderful people. And it's a way of bringing people together and a chance to sort of like try on different people, kind of figure out what they think, so we understand people better. That's, I guess, what I really like about it.
A word that comes to my mind is empowering. And I find that word so powerful because the theater brings a lot of people that don't necessarily seek out attention. And sometimes the theater comes to them. Like Martin was talking about, it's like, hey, you're awesome. Let me help you. And people gain their confidence through the theater. And if the community can share in on that, it's beautiful. And, a lot of people in this community are outcasts, and not all of them, and I think that word is being used more in a positive light today, and I'm proud to be an outcast. I was an outcast all through school. All of my friends will say the same thing. We're the outcast group, but we loved that outcast group. We were so proud of everything that we did, and it just brings people that wouldn't normally be together. For sure.
Kind of to piggyback off of what Allie just said, like, I was an outcast as well, where didn't feel like I fit in with any group growing up in school. And then when I finally got into theater, I felt comfortable. And you do meet some really nice people, some that are similar to you, which I thought was pretty cool, that there's actually people who are like me, that we can share those experiences with. So.
Great. What has theater taught you that you can carry into your life off the stage?
I would say that things are going to go wrong, and you got to think on your feet and go, okay, that just happened. What do I do now? You can either just panic and freeze and more happens, or you can just kind of find a way to make it work. And that's kind of that sort of improving with what comes your way.
Sure. Never know what's going to happen in live theater or in life.
I would definitely say confidence. The theater led to a lot of things in my life. Being on stage taught me that I could sing, which, being a young kid, I was like, I can't do anything right. I'm awful. And I really started to grow and learn, I am good at this, and everyone has something that they're good at, and we can all put it together. And being in the theater led me to the Miss Ohio Scholarship Program, and that built my confidence even more. And I truly believe I did so well within that program because of what the theater taught me. It taught me not just how to play a part, but also to be humble. Mm-hmm. When you do theater, you're not always going to get the part that you want. And you know what? You still do it, and you have a blast, whether that's in the chorus or the lead role. Mm-hmm. So humbleness and confidence has definitely transitioned into my real life.
Theater has taught me growth, and sometimes where I wanted to give up, and I did not give up, and I'm very thankful that I have not given up, because you do grow, and you have your entire life to continue growing. It never stops. You continue to go. You continue to go. So they pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say. But so like the more experience you get, you grow more. You grow and grow. So, you grow.
And just a reminder to the audience, I've got one more question for these lovely folks, but if you have any questions, feel free, please type those in. But we'll go through this last question, and then we've got one more performance for you. So we talked about your favorite roles that you've ever had. What's your dream role, or if you don't have a dream role, your dream show to be in?
Yeah, oh man, there's so many good ones. I would say either Max Bialystock and the Producers, or Sweeney Todd.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are like two different spectrums there, but yeah, they're both. So it's a tie.
Perfect. Great roles, both of them.
Very much so. So the answer used to always be definitely Kathy from the last 5 years. Love that show. I've always loved it. But it has since changed to just being in The Waitress. Obviously, I really identify with the lead role, being that I own a bakery. And I sing, obviously, like everyone else, I've been through my tough times and struggles. So I can there's so many ways that I identify with the lead character in that, but just the musical, so powerful, so beautiful, and sends such a good message.
Yeah.
But it's like it's made for me. Like, she's got a bakery and she sings, so I'd
Right,
love to
why
be in
not?
that show.
We actually, my family was fortunate. I'm gonna check the screen, it just went dark. We're checking on it. I might still be live. We might come back in a second. Someone in the comments, are we still live?
I just forgot.
So, but I was gonna say, my family had the good fortune to see actually, Molly Job, who is from a Galleon family. She understudied Jenna.
Yeah.
And she was just somehow miraculously Jenna on the night that we saw it in New
Oh,
York.
that is so
And
special.
it was very, very cool. It's such a good show. Okay, Martin.
I just had it and then went
Oh
away.
no, sorry.
But the one that I wanted to really play was Shrek, which I got to do
Yeah.
so. So once I did that, I was like, whatever comes, comes, whatever goes, goes. But you know, it slipped my mind. I just had to, and it went away. So
No worries. I think I just saw another question come in, so if you think of it, just raise your hand or shout it out. Yeah. What is, I just saw one. What made you want to audition for Hunchback? Whoever wants to shout it out, or we can go in the same order.
Let's do same order.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, like Eric was talking about, the music's really good. And I remember when Hunchback came out, and watching it was just so different. And when I watched, like, oh, and then Frollo's there, like, oh man, you know, like Frollo, and like has that sort of Javert kind of a feel to him, like, oh, that would be fun to do. So like there's like certain shows that I kind of keep on my like radar, like, is it going to be around, and you know like a 25-mile radius of this or there. And so when I saw it was coming up, I go, oh, I've got to do this. So that would be what made me audition.
So my reason, like many young girls, I was a huge Disney fan, and God Help the Outcast is always, even still, permanently stuck in my head. But then I started listening to the other songs, and I was like, oh my gosh, like sitting here crying, listening to all of these different songs, like Heaven's Light that Quasimodo sings. I'm like, I was listening to that on my way here, and I was like, oh, we need to do the show. But really, if it wasn't this show, I knew it was going to be something else. The bug was coming out to get me, and it's like, you need back in the theater.
Ready for the stage.
And I mean, of course, it's been a dream to play Esmeralda, and I can't wait to do so once we are finally able to.
Yes.
okay, I got it.
Oh, perfect.
So it would, two roles that I would love to play would be Genie and Mufasa. Those are two.
Those are fun.
What made me want to audition for Hunchback? I had a friend by the name of Hannah Oberlin, and she had relayed the information to me, and I just went ahead and did it. you know?
Yeah.
So,
We're glad you did. Okay, I just saw, Tara Beard.
that's my mother.
She literally just commented, what about Jeannie? She
There
knows
it is. Oh, yes.
Mama knows best.
We talk about everything.
Like I missed one of the questions. What's your favorite part of your character for this show?
You want to start over here?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite part of the character is that, I can relate to Quasimodo's story. Because as a kid, I was that kid who people would talk about and pick on and just were so hateful towards. So it was kind of nice to be able to portray that character. And one thing about Quasimodo is throughout the story, he shows that he's stronger. And I have that same mindset that I am stronger than others were. So it's really good to play this. It's really good to portray this character because I can relate to it so well.
I totally agree with that. As far as Esmeralda goes, I think that when we see Esmeralda in the beginning, we see this dancer that's showing off her body, and you don't really see the heart that's behind it. And throughout the show, it digs deep, and you realize, oh, this is an intelligent young woman, and there's more to what sees the eye, or what your eye sees. And I think with social media these days, a lot of us get tied up in, I see this person's headshot, she looks like she has it all together, and his picture's beautiful, and that's all he is. And it's like, no, this is a real life person, and you see her going through struggles and changes in mindset, and you get to see that intellect behind the person, and just so much dynamic, and definitely identify with that.
I think what the key to Frollo is that he was brought up with a certain mindset, a certain philosophy that kind of shaped him growing up, and that became his backbone. And when everything with Esmeralda starts kicking up and it doesn't fit with what he has, he's got two options. He can either bend and move on, or stay that rigid and something's going to break. And unfortunately, he breaks. And that's where, even though everything that he does is so contrary to what he really was brought up with, in his mind, he's justified because he thinks, well, if I do this, then there's some kind of greater good. That's the kind of thing I really like to sort of explore with that character. I guess lately I'd like to play those kind of not likable people.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a good character.
Okay. I think that might be all the questions. So, if you're ready, we have Someday, and Martin was going to play Quasi, but I believe this is Phoebus's song. So, you're going to see him in a different character this time. So, without further ado.
To believe in the days I was naive, that I'd live to see a day of justice dawn. And though I will die long before that morning comes, I'll die while believing still it will come when I am gone. Someday, when we have learned, I pray someday we may yet live to live and let live. Someday life will be fair.
Life will be fairer.
Need will be rarer.
Need will be rarer.
Greed will not pay.
Greed will not pay.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
This bright
This bright
millennium on its way. Let it come someday.
When the world's older, when things have changed, someday these dreams will all be real. Till then,
Thank you so much. And with that, that is the conclusion of opening night live for week 6. Thank you so much to our 3 guests, Charles, Martin, and Allie. They were wonderful, and we can't wait to see you on stage when we actually get to do Hunchback. It'll be great. So again, thank you to all of you for all you've done to help with our campaign. Please keep sharing the word, sharing our content. And if you feel so inclined, visit www.galleontheater.org/donate to donate. So thank you so much and have a good night. We'll see you next week.